PLAYBAW podcast. Explain neoseoul.
So that's the meeting of two minds, LE500 and Xavier. And yeah, it's just trying to recreate, like, we just both love soul music and neo soul, which is like the genre that came out in the 90s with D'Angelo and Erykah Badu. And because they were using electronic instrumentation and new rhythmic feel that Jay Dilla created to create a new version of soul, and Sam and I were like, fuck it, let's create like a newer version of R&B. Like, let's just have fun with it. And soul is spelled SEOUL because I'm half Asian, but I'm not even Korean. And then 500 is part of Sam's producer name, and it sounded like a bike on Akira. And like that's kind of where we were. We were kind of trying to imagine like soul music 1,000 years from now, I guess you can say, but maintaining integrity. Like it's still soulful, but it's not soulful in like the Stevie Wonder way. It's a little more distraught, like Tom York-esque, you know. I don't know, but it's still, there's soul in there. There's a lot of,
It's like the word Creole, man. Like I said earlier, it depends upon what time.
Yeah.
It depends upon, people say, what's the definition of Creole? It really, like, literally depends. A guy I took a class for wrote a book called Bienville's Dilemma, and literally talks about how, like, depends upon what year.
Yeah.
Literally, the definition of it is different.
Yeah.
So soul can be perceived the same way.
Yeah. Okay. This is my first filmed interview, so it's funny, like, watching myself.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I like it, though. It's cool. It's a great setting.
You know, radio, they said 10 years ago radio was going to go extinct, and it didn't. And you know why?
Why?
They added cameras and called them podcasts.
Very true. Very true.
So, I mean, it's still going strong for sure.
Yeah.
There's always something. There'll always be an allure. People want to, like, know things about people.
Yeah.
There'll always be that.
Yeah.
In, like,
social creatures.
in a certain way, you know, like we created the printing press in, like, 1500 or however long. PLAYBAW chat, correct me. But, like, there was always a yearning for that. For, like, something, information from something else.
Yeah.
About something I want to know about. Yeah. So, like, that third, like, okay, so I work around journalists.
You do.
Know? So it's like that journalistic integrity, you know. Honestly, I don't know how much I want to get into my, like, day job and all that, but, like, the main underlying current is, like, you're trying to, like, do marketing type things. You're trying to, like, create content that is engaging. That's the buzzword. And the pull of the other side of that is journalism. Yes. You know, the definition of journalism is fucking, the definition of journalism is not indulging the truth. So it's all about how you frame the truth. So I have, like, that's my something I'm, like, always thinking about. The way that, like, if we don't have that third party about the thing that we want to know about, then how can you, like, trust?
Yeah. Most
like,
definitely.
Nowadays, like, in sports, it starts with something very innocent, like sports. And it's, like, slowly, you know, things like ESPN get less and less power. And, like, if you want to watch
Is that happening?
Absolutely. So it's like, if you want to watch a football game, what could happen in the next 5-10 years? You want to watch a football game, you got to subscribe to the LSU app, man.
Really?
Well, what if I don't want to watch LSU? Well, you got to subscribe to whatever team you want to watch. But wait, they're playing LSU this weekend. Oh, well, you got to sub to ours too. So it's like, it's like there'll be no, like, reporters on the sideline. So, like, if someone's hurt, they can just go out there like the Soviet Union and be like, it's all good. Well, we literally saw him snap his leg. Like, we need the reporter to report it. Like, nope, he's good. And then, you know, you buy your ticket for next week's game, and then comes next week, it's like the player that everyone came to see is hurt, but you already bought the ticket and you're already there.
Oh, yeah.
Little things like
that.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And, you know, a lot of bad intentions, like you were talking about, can flourish.
And that quarterback got hurt when you went to go see the Tulane play, right?
Someone's paying attention, man.
Yeah, I'm paying attention.
So, exactly.
Yeah.
And it starts in innocent ways. So there's like a war on media, right?
Yeah.
Right now, it's very popular, but that is very dangerous, and it doesn't seem like it could be. So, like, it starts in things like sports, and it creeps its way into things like law enforcement, where you have a reporter goes up to a police chief and he wants a statement. He's like, we already released a statement. Go look at our Facebook post. And they just release their own statement on this thing on their own Facebook, and that's that.
Yep. And people are able to kind of control the narrative.
Yeah, back in the like 60s, 70s, you had a reporter in the police station.
Yeah, wow.
That seems crazy nowadays, doesn't it? So I don't want to branch too far off into that, but that's like there'll always be this medium. And it's just about how it's an important medium, and you have, like you were talking about, integrity. I like that you use that word. Yeah. It doesn't work its magic if you try to abuse it. It doesn't work its magic if you try to abuse it. You know what I'm saying? This is a powerful medium. This is this can be a very important thing. Yeah. And it's not going to be if you don't water it, treat it like life. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I try to put a lot of effort into it, and that's why, like, he pulls up, and we had technical difficulty, and then we thought we had it, and then, like, right when we're about to go live, another technical difficulty, and it's like, we just figure it out.
Yeah, improv.
Exactly, and it worked out.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing that has changed a lot for me. A friend of mine, the friend that lives in Colombia. Year or two ago, we started corresponding heavily, and like the concept of like optimism. Yeah. So I actually got into a debate with one of my buddies about the difference between optimism, pessimism, and positivity, negativity. He's like, those are the same things. I'm like, they're not. Yeah. I think negative and positive are out of our control. You walk outside, you have a flat tire when you're trying to drive home. That is a negative thing. Like, that's not positive. You can choose to go about it optimistically. Yes. Or pessimistically. Yeah. But the fact is, it's a negative thing. That's the constant. Yeah. That's the thing you can't change. But your attitude, your pessimism or your optimism is a complete choice. Yes. On 100%. That negative thing. I think that is very important to distinguish those things. And my buddy didn't. He's like, it's semantics. You're just trying to make it into more than it is. I think it's important to understand that. There's a lot of what's your choice and what's not. There's just so much there with mood that can take someone a lifetime to understand. It took me forever to come around in the past year or two. Quarantine was like the best time of my life until now. Since then, so I have like milestones. It was awesome at the beginning. I have milestone spaces. So like quarantine, and then now is great. But were you in high school? I was just started college. Okay. Kind of fucked my whole college. I always thought the people who were like freshmen in college that I was like a sophomore, so or like early in it. Yeah, I was early in it. Yeah, but that mushroom trip I had, it was just 2 grams, and it just like completely opened my heart, like just took away all the emptiness, just to be able to dance again and just like feel okay. Your ego death. I mean, in a way, but I didn't like ego death. Felt like I died. I was just I don't know about all that, but it just something happened and changed your perspective. I was just grooving, you know, like actually just Roy Ayers, Blackbirds, Donald Byrd. I was listening to Cool in the Game that whole trip, so just Billy Cobham. But that's he's a great drummer. Yeah. But it's that optimism, King Crimson, man. That was once like I was preaching to people. This was like this is the greatest band ever, and you don't know. Have you ever heard? Do you know Contusion by Stevie Wonder? Yeah. That's like one of my favorite. That's my favorite Stevie song. I've been learning it for 2 weeks now. It's awesome.
2 weeks. And I'm still at 30%, -30% speed. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like
music can be healing, mushrooms,
absolutely.
nature.
So would you say like the Neo Soul project, that was like did just starting that and realizing like you probably had, if you're like me, you had like this like vibe going before it ever started.
Yeah, I've been locked away in like the studio for like 2-3 years. So when you said you've been out of the loop, I was out of the loop right before quarantine, during quarantine, 2021, half of 2022, and again, it's only been since like that half year I just like opened my eyes again, just started doing stuff. I was out the loop, and just Sam and I, because we were studio rats for years.
See, the thing about that though is like, how do you learn if you're always in it? Like, there's a line in the show The Bear. You know the bear on
the TV show.
Yeah, FX.
Yeah.
There's a point where like, because I did service industry, so it was hitting me. But there's like a point where like they send one of the dudes overseas, and they're like, he's prepping with this guy, and like he's real hard nosed. He's got his guard up, like all these service industry dudes who've like made it deep into it are. And finally, when they're prepping, he like opens up and starts to like talk about himself a little bit, and he's like basically going over the notion that like you have to like, you'll never learn to cook if you don't get out of the kitchen.
No, you just.
He's like, how do you know what your favorite food is if you never go out? Because he's like, it's all about the grind. It's all about working. Like you have to, if you're a chef, you live in there. But he's like, how do you ever learn like to cook if you're always just here grinding? He's like, you have to. So like, I took it as that, like, you got to balance it and stuff.
I hadn't heard anyone say this in a minute. The chaos brings order. That clicked for me when you said it. That's why I keep it. But getting out can feel like chaos.
Yeah.
But it brings order.
After quarantine, I definitely got way too comfortable just kicking it at the house all the time, and I definitely developed a worse drinking problem than I thought I had.
I just went through that phase for like the past month.
I've drank one day in almost 5 months.
Wait, say that again?
I've only drank one day. That day I went to go watch a football game in 5 months.
Sick. Yeah. Cool.
So that was like a thing that I think got a little out of control more than I thought it did.
Is quitting drinking hard? Is it a hard thing to do?
If you can't remember the last time you went 2 weeks without drinking, yes.
Okay. Yeah. I don't drink much anymore. I did, but like.
No, I just got to where I thought in my mind, I think that like sitting at the house by yourself, not driving anywhere, you're not hurting anybody, but you are like.
You're hurting your body.
You're teaching your body to depend on something. I was definitely doing it to cope with something.
Yeah.
So that part is the hardest part.
And it's
learning,
not just a cigarette, because this thing will get you on your ass for 3-4 hours, drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, cigarettes are bad still, but like alcoholism, it can hurt other people. Like say you do drive, and I know a lot of us were 22 at one point, or are 22 or are 21, and knew people who got DUIs or.
I got one when I was 24.
Shit, yeah, damn.
Yeah, I spent 2 days in Orleans Parish Prison. I was in It took me more than a day to get booked. So I was in the holding with like hundreds of people for like a while.
Holding? Could you use the bathroom?
Yeah, but like right there,
Yeah, okay. Damn.
Yeah, I saw people get whooped in there. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. There was actually, so I was in Orleans Parish Prison booking. It's just this huge open area with big-ass bars. Like, everyone just in there. Nothing, no different rooms and compartments. And, like, so there was a high-profile drive-by where a toddler girl got killed. And they've been looking for these people for, like, a month or two. Mm-hmm. And that person got booked while I was in there. while I was getting booked. The person who got accused of doing it, who got arrested of doing it, and it was in the Ninth Ward. There was a bunch of Ninth Ward people in there. Whenever he got booked, there was a TV in the booking, and the news report come up, and his face is up there, and I just remember like, man, I didn't fucking do that, this and that, and all these Ninth Ward people hit the bars, and like, I don't know if it was on purpose or whatever, but they let some of them out to get booked at the same time, and there was an old man with like a cane that was like made of like driftwood looking, and it was this huge cane, and someone took the cane and they just started beating that dude all across the booking area, and the pepper spray, blah blah.
While you were there?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's kind of.
While I was in booking, I didn't even get, Most people get DWI. They just are in the booking and they get let loose.
Yeah.
But like, I got put in the orange jumpsuit and put in the infamous tents.
What's the infamous tents?
Well, back in the old OPP, there's the tents. So like, there was the jail, but then there was all this extra that was like, they were literally like tents outside, and I went into those.
Shit.
I spent the night in the tents.
Okay, a little nature.
Well, they're closed, but they're like inflatable like tent things.
That's crazy. Wait, what?
They were notorious. Like they flooded during Katrina and stuff.
Is this like? Do they still do that?
I hope not.
Yeah.
It was nuts. Like we all four of us got thrown into this tent where like a community had formed, and like half the people were like, y'all get y'all in the shower, y'all go take a shower, and this and that, and the other half were like, no, we all shower, like we shower on our schedule, like don't go do that. So you didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So while they were arguing about it, I just snuck over there and like took a shower. It was like broke and stuff, and then I hopped back in.
Yeah.
But I really think my experience went a lot smoother in there because I went to Louisiana public school.
Okay.
Pretty early on in there, I was like, okay, so this is just like public school.
Yeah, but for grown men. Yeah.
Yep. For grown people, for sure. Like, I saw the people that get arrested in New Orleans, I definitely saw like an array of individuals in there.
Yeah. I bet. So. And then you. Yourself.
Yeah. Wait, what's up?
I just said like you and yourself,
exactly.
Observing.
I ended up.
And you didn't have anyone to like be with you either. It's just kind of you and a bunch of like people.
No, the girl that I was taking home got to go home.
She got to go home?
Yeah.
I mean, oh, cool.
Yeah, I had a headlight out and they stopped me. But I mean, it was one of those situations where it's like I was cutting the fuck up in life, and like I needed that wake up call.
Oh, wow.
Me personally, for sure. I need it. Nobody needs to get locked up like in that situation, but it was I treated it with optimism.
Good. I asked someone a stupid question this weekend. It was about a DUI, and it was asking like, hey, like, did you at least have fun the night you got booked with the DUI? She was like,
yeah, I had a great time.
You did? What'd you do?
At the time, I was living in uptown New Orleans, and I did stand-up comedy one night a week. I was like a performer and was really had it put together doing rap and stuff, and I just wanted to get on the stage.
Yeah.
So there was this place called Carrollton Station, which I think's still there. Longest running open mic night in Louisiana.
Okay, cool.
And like stars have been made there, and like if someone famous was like in town, they would like just drop in.
Yeah, that's
like Kristen Schaal went on after me. She's now most popular for doing the youngest girl in Bob's Burgers.
Oh, wow.
But she's done a lot of things. It's just most people will probably know that
of
the
course.
Most. But like, yeah, I remember there was nobody there, and then like I got on stage, and like everybody, like 100 people just rushed to the front. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? And I looked over the side, and it's fucking Kristen Schaal standing right there.
That's
she was fitting to go on after me, and I was like, oh, okay. And then she goes on, and you're like, oh, this is a professional comedian.
Yeah.
She's good.
Yeah.
I bet
that was surreal to see, like, people just come towards the stage.
I mean, I was a college football player, and at that time, I was like a year or two, probably a year out of playing college football, and I was like, craved that. I craved that performance. I craved being in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
You know, because there's nothing like that.
So you were on the team for Tulane?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah,
Tell me
like
about
I played in front of 100,000 people, like type shit, and like
Oh wow.
there's
what
nothing.
position?
I was a long snapper,
Okay.
so
Oh shit, yeah.
yeah, there was a lot of pressure on my position. Nobody really paid attention to you unless you fucked it up.
Yeah.
And my first ever road game was against Army at in New York in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
You know, it's the first time I'd ever seen like a real fall with like yellow and orange leaves and stuff.
Yeah.
And like first punt, I'm like looking between my legs. 50,000 people, places going crazy, man. And like you're on TV and stuff, national TV, and they blocked the punt. Like you can't describe the sound and the feeling. Like when you're a snapper, you snap it and like that's that. Like you don't really know if it went well.
Yeah.
You know, you just practice and like you're throwing the ball 15 yards under your legs behind you and hoping it doesn't fuck up. And what happens is you do it, you take off, you either block or you take off running, and then you just hear this noise you can hear in your nightmares of that ball getting blocked, that ball on skin.
Yeah.
And then immediate, the whole place going crazy. It's nuts.
What?
Yeah. Nothing like it.
That's hardcore.
Yeah. So like, especially when dudes are like done playing, it's like an acclimation period to say the least.
Yeah.
So like you gotta find things. So like,
okay.
drinking the cope and like going to open mic comedy was like, looking back on that now, is like that's what that was all about. Okay. I was coping. I was living the life. You know, I was at that time of my period, especially at that time period of my life, and especially where I was at that. You know, I lived at a complex with like a pool and stuff. Like we were wilding, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was getting like attention and stuff.
Yeah.
Like this one girl was like all about me and stuff. I was like, dude, I got like a chick that likes me off of my shitty open mic comedy.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you're just in the mix, you're drinking and having fun and boo! Step out the car.
Life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess like you have more answers than me on that one. I ain't been there.
Yeah, you're an old soul, man. You got a lot. You understand a lot. PLAYBAW Podcast.